Welcome to Gashis Kaman TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. The 14 days are fast passing. They are just coming to a close. And I didn't know that majority of Kenyans are worried by the ultimatum that were given by Azimio Brigade. A friend of mine who lives in the United States wanted to come to Kenya for Easter holiday. And when he called me yesterday, telling me about his fears, asking me what is likely to happen after the 14 days have expired, I thought this is something worth analyzing. So let me also ask you, our viewers, what do you think will happen after the 14 days given by Raila Amolo Odinga if his demands will not be met? What do you think will happen? Because according to Raila Amolo Odinga, people will start demonstrating. People will start demonstrating in the streets. That is what I believe will happen. According to Azimio, there will be mass action. But what many people are saying is that Raila Amolo Odinga and his brigade may not be able to control the people once the mass action starts. It will be very, very difficult to start. Kwa sababu kulingana na wachanganuzi wengi wakati ambapo tulikuwa tunajadiliana swala hili, tulikuwa tunaona kwamba watu pale wamefika, they don't even require the leadership of Azimio to tell them what to do. Kwa sababu wengi wamekasirika, wengi wamefika mwisho, wametamauka, and the patience has run out. So many people are worried. So even me, Gashis Kaman TV, the tallest man in Black Africa, in spite of my height, I cannot be able to see what will exactly happen. But I can tell you the most likely scenario that are likely to come out. Because what we have what we call the martyrs of truth, who are leading these demonstrations, who will be leading the mass actions. And the martyrs of truth, you find them in Azimio, led by Raila Amolo Odinga in Martha Karua and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. The truth is, the servers have never been opened. And you see, when it comes to the martyrs, these are people who don't fear death. These are people who don't fear prison. These are people who don't fear anybody. They don't fear the police. They only fear God. So I can tell you, once the martyrs of truth goes to the street, it will be very hard to call them back. It will be very, very difficult. Again, these are people who cannot retreat. They are people who cannot surrender. They are people who cannot stop doing what they have started doing or what they are determined to do. And I believe they will go all the way to the end, because I believe Azimio has been holding these meetings to prepare the people of the coming days. And the days now are at hand. The clouds are red. Red clouds in the blue sky is something that is scaring many people. And because these martyrs of truth, because they cannot retreat, they cannot surrender, there will be serious confrontation between the martyrs of truth and the government. There will be serious confrontation, which may turn out to be riots. And the riots can bring the country to a halt. The riots can take the country to a gridlock. Everything can stand still when these guys start demonstrating, when they start mass action. Remember, the way I've looked at them, I can only describe them as martyrs of truth. And there is nothing more difficult, there is nothing more challenging than dealing with these guys because of what they believe. And you see, if you heard Martha Karua saying, Martha Karua has always been saying that nobody will die twice. And if you listen to Lile Jeshi la Baba, they have always been saying the same. So these are guys who I believe are going to lead the people. They are going to organize the people. They are going to mobilize the people. And they seem to be in all corners of the country. And this is what I'm calling a serious confrontation with the government. And I can tell you that most likely the whole country is going to riot against the government. The other thing is that Ruto can easily be forced to resign. If you look at William Samoei Ruto, you see somebody who is cornered. If you look at the president, you see somebody, even the voice is telling you something that he is cornered by Azimio demands. When you look listen at his tone, utaona kweli William Samoei Ruto has been pushed to the wall. And that's why I'm saying, although many people think that he cannot resign, I believe his instinct will tell him that the country comes first. When the national interests correlates or are in conflict with the personal interest, then the national interest must prevail. Those were the words of the late George Saitoti. Inafika mahali ambapo maslahi ya taifa yanakuja mbele ya maslahi yako. I believe that William Samoei Ruto can easily resign if what Azimio is planning to do, because we can see that they are not planning to retreat. And if what I think that when I see these people, the way they have been talking in the meetings, the way they seem very much prepared, very much determined, I think William Samoei Ruto can resign for the sake of the motherland. Jambo lingine ambalo linaweza kufanyika ni kwamba the United Nations can intervene. They can come and maybe try to reconcile the two factions, because what we have is a disputed elections. This is the cause of all this. The genesis of the problems that we are seeing in Kenya ni uchaguzi ambao matokeo yake hayajakubalika na wanaazimio, ambapo watu wanaamini ya kwamba wanaazimio wanaamini ya kwamba alishinda uchaguzi, jambo ambalo ni wazi kama meno ya giri kwamba walishinda uchaguzi huu, and the electoral justice can only be restored by the United Nations. And I think even Britain and United States, I believe they are going to lend their helping hand, because the way Kenya is, Kenya, I've always opined, is a strategic country. It's a country that cannot be let down by the other countries, especially Britain and United Kingdom. Sababu hani watu ambao wana maslahi mengi sana. They have so much interest in Kenya, and they have invested heavily in Kenya. So I can see these guys intervening. So that's a likely scenario. Again, what is likely to have is that the police will definitely be overpowered. Truth be told, there's nothing that can stop an idea whose time has come. Not even the mighty army, not even jeshi la polisi. Hakuna watu ambao wanaweza kuambia hawa watu wake kile ambacho wameamua kufanya. Because how can the police, for instance, stop a million march in the streets? Wataanza wapi na watamalizia wapi? Because when you look at Azimio, Azimio is everywhere. And the funny thing is that even the supporters of Kenya Kwanza, they are supporting mass action. They are supporting Raila Amolo Odinga. They are saying they may not agree with him, but they believe the cost of living is something that calls for mass action. The price of commodities is something that calls for mass action. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho tunaweza kuona ni kwamba jeshi la polisi halitaweza kudhibiti maandamano haya. And I can see is because even the policemen are also feeling the heat of taxation. They are feeling the heat of the high cost of living. They are feeling the heat of price of commodities. Hivyo hata wao wanaona ukweli that to be told. Because if the changes that Raila is fighting for are going to come, they're going to benefit everybody, including the police, including the army, everybody, including the president himself. Although hawa wako katika serikali hawajali chochote kwa sababu they get everything free, because the citizens provide for them. Kwa hivyo hiki ni kitu ambacho kinaweza kutokea. Again, kile ambacho tunaweza kuona ni kwamba we can have a negotiated government. In fact, a government of national unity is something that can easily happen in this country. Anything is possible at this time because the days are running out. And not even the government of national unity. You can even have a transitional government. A transitional government maybe that can stay for 1 year or 6 months and prepare for fresh general elections. Because that is a bone of contention. Kwa sababu watu, there's nothing that can stop people from picketing. Because it's something that is in the constitution. Ni jambo ambalo limekubalika na katiba. Kwa hivyo hakuna mtu ambaye anaweza kuwazuia watu kufanya kile ambacho katiba imekubali. So what I can say is that we are likely to see a different kind of government. The government can easily be reconstituted if this is what it means to bring justice, if this is what it means to have peace in this country. Again, kile ambacho tunaweza tukasema ni kwamba there will be serious inflation. This kind of situation is going to affect the businesses. It is going to affect the import and export of commodities. And the dollar is likely to be very scarce. And what is likely to happen is that, in fact, you can easily go the Zimbabwe way. This country can easily sink. It can come to an economic meltdown, which is already happening. So these 14 days, in my view, means a lot. These 14 days can be thwarted in a way that William Samoei Ruto can come and maybe try to negotiate with Raila Amolo Odinga and see the things that they can agree. Because the problem that we have is that William Samoei Ruto is not ready even to face Raila Amolo Odinga. When you look at him, and which is wrong in my view, it's a wrong approach, because once they were declared the validly elected leaders, kile ambacho waliona ni kwamba walichukulia like the earth is revolving around Kenya Kwanza, which is wrong in my view, because what will happen is that we also likely to see urban rural migration. Sababu unajua ng'ombe akivujika mguu zizini kujikokota nyumbani akasaidiwe. Kwa hivyo tunaweza kuona ng'ombe wakijikokota wakielekea zizini, and that is urban rural migration. Because all said and done, kile ambacho tunaona ni kwamba watu wanaona wakiwa pamoja, especially when they are speaking the same language, they feel like they are safe. And I believe that we have still 9 more days, and the 9 more days I believe are enough to change everything, because a day in politics is just too long. Many things can happen, and what I would advise Gachagua is to stop insulting Raila Amolo Odinga, is to stop insulting Azimio guys, is to stop ridiculing Kenyans, because Kenyans are hurting kutokana na yale ambayo yanaendelea. And William Samoei Ruto, I think it is important to know that the buck will stop at him. If this country goes to the dog, he'll be blamed by the generations, and the blood of Kenyans will rise squarely on his hands and on his table. So he has all the time to stop these mass actions through the right means, of course, because I believe force cannot work. Hata tumie nguvu hazitafaulu wakati huu. This is Gashi's Command TV, the Tallsman Black Africa. Here we analyze politics, issues, news as they come. And may you have a blessed day. May you keep peace. Let's see and wait what is going to happen to this great nation. Till next time, bye-bye.